feel good. Food that sings a rainbow. Feels good to feel good. A joy to watch it grow. Glimmers all around us, so get up there and glow. Feels good to feel good, and let it show.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Meyer, otherwise known as the Health Muse, and this is class 2 of the Great Liver Rescue. So let me bring up the slides because I think it's always easier to follow along. And so here we go. How the liver interacts with other organs, because as goes the liver, goes your health. So this is class 2 of the Great Liver Rescue. If you have a thyroid problem, you have a liver problem. If you have a heart problem, you have a liver problem. If you have cancer, for sure, you have a liver problem. This organ is central to your health, so I want you to give it a lot of respect and love because this organ interacts with everything. If you have a lymph problem, you have a liver problem. If you have a sick mouth or dental problems, you could very well have a liver problem. I've worked with enough clients to realize every organ and every system is dependent on each other in your body. And in holistic cancer clinics, the liver's health is front and center of reversing this. So anything diseased in the body impacts every other operating system. And here you can see your liver and how it is involved with everything else here, okay? And there's a direct connection between your liver and your heart. But it's also connected to your stomach and your kidneys and your gallbladder and your pancreas and your lower intestine and your upper intestine, your small intestine. It's all connected. And so let's get going. The liver and the other major body systems and how they impact each other. Good health is a team effort. So your brain and your lungs and your heart and your liver and your teeth and your gut and your stomach, and your bladder, they all impact each other. So you need to know that if you have a sick liver, it's impacting your other organs and vice versa. So let's start with the liver and the heart, because I read somewhere a while ago that the #1 cause of heart disease is liver disease. Liver health significantly impacts heart health through several interconnected mechanisms. Cholesterol regulation, it's crucial for producing and clearing cholesterol for the body. Liver dysfunction leads to an imbalance in cholesterol levels, specifically an increase in those bad LDL cholesterols, which is a major risk in your factor for your heart disease. Now, understand all cholesterol is not bad. Your brain needs cholesterol. Your cells walls need cholesterol. But the bad LDL cholesterol, not such a good thing. And a dysfunction specifically increases the bad LDL. Inflammation. Inflammation equals disease. So a diseased liver triggers systemic inflammation throughout the body. This chronic inflammation can damage blood vessels and contribute to arteriosclerosis, which is hardening of the arteries, increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. So inflammation comes also increase from a diseased liver. Blood pressure. The liver produces proteins that help regulate blood pressure. Impaired liver function can disrupt this balance, potentially leading to hypertension, which is high blood pressure. Metabolism. The liver plays a key role in metabolizing fats and sugars. When the liver is unhealthy, these processes are disrupted, leading to conditions like type 2 diabetes and obesity, both of which are significant risk factors for cardiovascular disease. A healthy liver is vital for you to be able to maintain a healthy cardiovascular system. Now, when I got sick, I had all of the above. I had high blood pressure. I had slow metabolism. I had diabetes. I was 80 pounds overweight. So, yep, I was obese. And it all worked together to give me inflammation and make me sick. So, that's what we're going to be talking about as we go through how it impacts different organs. The liver is the mother organ to the heart system. And this energy clears the path so that the heart can shine. The liver stores the blood and ensures its smooth flow. That nourishment rises to feed the heart. Your dreams live in your heart, but it's your liver that gives you the courage to pursue them. Now, you know I do heart math, or if you don't, you follow me on Facebook, you'll know I do heart math. Your liver is the mother organ to the heart because the heart has as many neurons as your brain does. And when you're in your heart, that's where your hopes and dreams are. That's where you can hone in on your self-love. That's where you can radiate love. That's where you can find your compassion and get ready to share it with the world. That's where you practice gratitude. And that all connects with the universe and opens up the key frequency so that the universe knows what you want, knows what you like, and can help you achieve all your hopes and dreams. So your dreams live in your heart, but your liver gives you the courage to pursue them. The liver and the gut. The stomach breaks down food with acid and enzymes, while the liver then manages the nutrients and filters toxins from that food. So please, whatever you're eating, do not make it foods that are poison. Eat organic because you don't need extra poisons in your gut, and don't eat ultra processed food, which we'll get into because a lot of the things in ultra processed food, all those things that are on the label, you don't know what they are and can't pronounce. They're toxic things, and that also makes your stomach have a much harder time breaking down your food, and it sends it all to the liver, who has to filter it out of your body. So the first place you're going to give your liver love is with the food that you eat. So the best foods for gut bacteria are vegetables, fruit, and legumes, green peas, broccoli, beans, lentils, bananas, blueberries, raspberries, chickpeas, apples, and artichokes. Your prebiotic foods. You have prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics are things that you break down that feed all your other gut bacteria, which allows you to digest your food properly. And those are whole grains, some vegetables, and some fruits. Fermented food products, sauerkraut, kimchi, tempeh, yogurt, preferably unsweetened because sugar itself is toxic in your body, kombucha, and kefir. Foods high in polyphenols, green teas, almonds, onions, broccoli, grape skins, blueberries, cocoa, and dark chocolate. How your liver and your gut work together. Your blood filtration leaves the stomach and the intestines carrying all these newly absorbed nutrients, medications, and toxins, and it flows directly to the liver through the hepatic portal vein. Nutrient processing. The liver processes all these nutrients and converts them into forms your body can use for energy, storing them for later use. Detoxification. The liver filters out harmful substances and all those toxins that are absorbed by your digestive tract before the blood is circulated to the rest of the body. Bile production. While the stomach does not use bile itself, the liver produces this digestive juice, which is then stored in the gallbladder and released into the small intestine to break down the fats that your stomach just processed. So the liver and the gut are very close friends, and they interact every hour of the day. The benefit of using probiotics. I take a probiotic called Seed. And the commercial cracked me up because the woman on the commercial talked about that she was poop shy. And ever since I got my third shot for COVID, I've been somewhat poop shy. It was recommended by Dr. Mark Hyman, who I follow religiously because I have learned so much from him. He's a functional doctor who's written something like 24 books. And he recommended Seed. And I will tell you, it is helping me be much more regular, which is important and which we will discuss as we go through these slides. Why are probiotics important? Because of immunomodulation. It protects against infections. It improves your digestive health. It increases your nutrient absorption, metabolic product formation, aid in weight loss. It improves your brain health. All really important things. If your gut cannot properly digest your food, see here, improving your digestion, the probiotics can't break it down to the right size. So the lining on your gut is only one cell thick. It is thinner than tissue paper. So that large food particle starts pushing up against the lining of your gut and rips a little hole in it, and that food in the too large a particle goes into your blood. Now, your body does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it screams foreigner because it can't recognize that big blob of food that it just went through your gut lining and into your blood. And then your body does something really interesting. I thought this was fascinating. Wherever you are weak, and originally for me, that was my joints and my muscles, wherever you are weak, your body is triggered by a immune function called autoimmune. It's hyperimmune, and it goes and it attacks wherever you are weakest. So the probiotics are really important because they digest your food down to the right size. Now, once this too large of a piece of food is in your gut and your artery, then it goes over to the liver, and the liver doesn't know what to do with it either because it's too big and it can't identify it. So probiotics are an important thing for you to consider adding to your diet. I am let's see, since I have been inflamed, that the seed is helping me stay regular. I also take a multi-magnesium, which helps me stay regular. And magnesium is important for 500 different enzyme reactions in your body. So all the way around, taking magnesium attaches itself to salts. So by getting one that has 3 different salts attached to it, it helps me sleep. It helps me digest my food. It is a wonderful thing, and I love it. And it is by Integrative Therapeutics, and it's called Tri-Magnesium. I have a whole chart of all the different kinds of magnesium and the different things they do. So if you want that, you write to me at, say under my name up there, Cheryl Health Muse at gmail.com. You must stay regular to have a healthy liver. Otherwise, as your body attempts to remove the toxins that have been filtered out of your liver, by your liver, and also by your lymph system, which picks up the trash around the cells, if these poisons can't leave the body, they recirculate and they go through your system all over again. Now, trust me, your lymph system and your liver have plenty of toxins that they're trying to get out of your body on the first round. They do not need to be doing it again on a second or a third or a fourth round. So make sure that you are regular and you are pooping correctly so that you have healthy poop and healthy lymph, because those are crucial to your liver's health and your long-term health. You want those poisons evicted as quickly as possible. Protect the liver through food-based strategies that reduce its daily burden. The liver processes every substance that crosses the gut barrier, beneficial or harmful. So organic cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, and watercress, kale is in that family, cabbage is in that family. There's a whole bunch of things in your cruciferous vegetables. Brussels sprouts are in that family. They are super good for you, and they support the liver's detoxification pathways and help neutralize inflammatory signals that are arriving from the gut. Reducing alcohol consumption, eliminating processed foods. Remember all those words you don't know what they are or you can't pronounce? Are there also high in refined sugar and vegetable oils? And vegetable oils have all kinds of issues, including Bt toxin from being genetically modified. We'll get into that later. And staying well hydrated. I drink 64 ounces of water a day. All lower your metabolic workload that the liver carries every day. A less burdened liver is better equipped to manage the bacterial challenge posed by an unhealthy oral microbiome, which is new science, which we're going to talk about when we get to the liver and the mouth. Harvard researchers discover how gut bacteria also control blood sugar through the liver. New Harvard research in cell metabolism, which is one of their medical journals, identified specific metabolites that travel from the gut through the portal vein into the liver, where they influence insulin sensitivity. I also had type 2 diabetes when I got sick. So all of this is stuff I have researched in my journey to return to wellness, which I have done. Researchers detected that 111 metabolites in healthy mice, but when obesity-prone mice ate a high-fat diet, that number dropped to 48. So it shows how diet shapes which metabolites reach the liver. When they expose liver cells to a single metabolite, it improved insulin signaling and regulating genes involved with fat metabolism. This validates that the gut is a metabolic command center. The microbiome produces compounds that directly regulate how the liver handles energy, creating a mechanistic link between gut health and metabolic disease. This is not a correlation, it's a mechanism, opening doors to new strategies for obesity and type 2 diabetes. And that is a direct quote from Chris Kresser, who is a functional naturopath that I follow. And he's brilliant. Optimize your stomach acid. Stomach acid is necessary for digestion and nutrient absorption. Many people do not produce adequate levels of stomach acid, and then they become nutrient deficient. This slows the transformation of specific toxins in the liver. Now, a lot of people think they have too much stomach acid. What they're actually struggling with is too little. So when you're put on a pill to increase your stomach acid, it causes all kinds of issues in your body. So how do you improve your stomach acid? Use liquid nutrition throughout the day. Use lemon and apple cider vinegar in your water that you're drinking all day long. Use ginger. It has magical compounds in it that help your stomach acid. Eat protein foods at the beginning of the meal. Super hydrate outside of the meal times. You don't want to be drinking a ton of water while you're eating food because that will disrupt your digestion. Use fermented vegetables. Drink very little with your meat containing meals. Use fermented drinks. Hold off on water after a meal and eat your largest meal when you are most relaxed. Improve your stomach acid by having liquid nutrition throughout the day with half your meals in an easily digestible form. Examples would be a green juice or a protein shake. Timing your intake of water is important for optimal stomach acid. Drinking water with or right after the meal dilutes your digestive juices, so that's not a good thing. Instead, you should super hydrate before you have meals and after you have meals, but put a little distance between them and when you put food in your gut. When having your meals, it's important to be relaxed. This is especially important for your largest meal. Eating your protein at the beginning of the meal and chewing every bite many times are additional strategies for improving your stomach acid production. Chewing your food starts your saliva, which then goes down and stimulates your stomach acid. Supplementation can be essential for individuals with low stomach acid. So don't let them put you on different things that give you more stomach acid, because that's only going to create more havoc in your gut. A supplement with betaine HCI can be taken during your meal for stomach acid support. Write that down. Betaine HCI. A new study found that blocking stomach acid can lead to an overgrowth of intestinal bacteria that likely contributes to liver inflammation and damage. The findings show that some widely used acid reflux heartburn medications worsens chronic liver disease. So you don't want to be taking those because they're going to make your situation worse. Unraveling the liver's vital role in digestive health. Your liver, it's a central processing unit handling nutrients that are absorbed from the intestines, regulating blood sugar levels, filtering toxins from your bloodstream, and producing bile, which is a key component in processing fats. This is an unhappy liver. This is an unhappy stomach. If you have an unhappy stomach, you probably also have an unhappy liver. Now let's talk about the relationship between your mouth and liver disease via the stomach. The journey from the mouth to the gut that damages the liver. To healthy people, bacterial communities in the mouth and gut are very distinct. Each site hosts its own microbial population, and under normal conditions, the two ecosystems remain largely separate. But in patients with advancing liver disease, that boundary breaks down. Researchers have found identical bacteria strains in the saliva and the stool samples from patients with liver disease. Specifically, bacteria called Veillonella and Streptococcus, organizations that belong in the mouth, were showing up in the gut in significantly larger concentrations as liver disease worsened. The worse the liver disease, the more similar the bacteria, the bad bacteria in your mouth and gut microbiomes become. Researchers concluded that these bacteria were migrating from the mouth to colonize the gut. So here you see an unhappy mouse, and research has confirmed that mouse bacteria can migrate to the liver and the gut, which then drives obesity and liver disease. The worse the liver disease, the more similar the gut and the mouth microbiomes became. Researchers concluded that these bacteria were migrating from the mouth to colonize the gut, the enzyme that breaks the gut barrier. This research team did not stop at identifying which bacteria were migrating. They also uncovered how those bacteria cause damage once they arrive. The oral bacteria shared a specific gene called PRTC, which encodes a collagenase-like enzyme, which is a protein that breaks down collagen. Collagen is a key structural component of the tight junctions that hold your gut lining together. Remember, I said when you're not digesting your food correctly, that too large a size of food starts pounding up against the lining of your gut. Well, there's little lining junctures there, and if they break, that's what leaky gut is. And then that big food goes into your body and triggers an autoimmune response. When these bacteria produce collagenase in the gut, they degrade the very proteins that maintain your intestinal barrier. A damaged gut lining allows more bacteria and bacterial byproducts to leak into the bloodstream and travel directly to the liver, driving further inflammation and the buildup of fibrous scar tissue known as fibrosis. Why the mouth is a window and the medical system keeps missing it? More than 2 million people die from advanced chronic liver disease every year. Western medicine manages this condition by almost entirely going to the liver itself. And so medications and through medications and in severe cases, a transplant. The role of the oral microbiome in driving disease progression has received almost zero clinical attention. And yet this study found that changes in the oral microbiome were detectable at earlier stages of liver disease than changes in the gut. So it's your first red flag that goes up that trouble is coming in your liver. The mouth, in other words, may be showing you warning signs before the gut does. Targeting the oral microbiome, the researchers have concluded, could represent a meaningful strategy for slowing down the progression of chronic liver disease. Make daily oral hygiene a genuine health priority, not just a cosmetic one. In other words, brush your teeth really well and brush your tongue because use a tongue scraper so that you reduce the bacterial load on your tongue surface and all over your mouth, keeping your oral microbiome in a healthier balance. Additionally, avoiding alcohol-based mouthwashes can destroy the balance of beneficial oral bacteria, which supports a more protective microbial environment in the mouth. Support the gut lining that the oral bacteria can damage. The intestinal barrier is the critical checkpoint between the gut and the liver. Foods rich in fiber from organic vegetables and legumes feed the beneficial gut bacteria that help maintain tight junction integrity. If you read my book, It's Not Complicated How to Eat, you will learn that one of the big problems with ultra-processed food is it removes all the fiber from the food. And you need that fiber because it's all kinds of wonderful functions in your body. And you need foods rich in fiber from organic fruits and vegetables and legumes. So eat up, but make sure they're organic and stop eating ultra-processed food. Moreover, fermented foods such as unsweetened organic kefir and sauerkraut introduce bacterial strains that compete with harmful colonizers. So together, these dietary choices help rebuild and maintain your gut lining that a disrupted oral microbiome has undermined. Now we'll move on to the liver and the brain. The liver health significantly impacts brain function, primarily through the detoxification process and by maintaining overall metabolic balance. The detoxification process is so important. It filters toxins from your blood, and if it's not functioning properly, these toxins, particularly ammonia, can build up in the bloodstream and travel up to your brain, leading to a condition called hepatic encephalopathy. This can cause confusion, changes in mood, personality shifts, and in severe cases, it can lead to coma. Oxidative stress, you remember oxidative stress is not a good thing. So liver dysfunction increases oxidative stress throughout the body, including the brain. There are compounds found in good mushrooms, such as oyster mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms, and they help decrease oxidative stress in the brain. Nutrient metabolism. The liver plays a crucial role in processing nutrients that are essential for your brain health, such as glucose and fats. Impaired liver function can disrupt the supply of those vital resources for the brain, which will affect your cognitive function and overall brain health. And I don't know about you, but at 77, I plan to keep my brain till the end. As long as I live, I want to keep my brain happy and functioning properly. Neuroprotection. Research suggests that certain bioactive compounds in mushrooms may offer neuroprotective effects, potentially improving, again, cognitive function and helping the brain recover from injury or neurodegenerative conditions, which can be exacerbated by systemic health issues like poor liver function. Can your liver actually change your personality? Oh, yes, and it's not even funny. OHE is a complication of cirrhosis and occurs when the liver sustains damage and loses its ability to remove toxins from your bloodstream effectively, causing toxins to accumulate and then lead to impaired brain function. The results in symptoms that do not immediately lead to liver problems. People may develop personality changes, tremors, disorientation, or even a complete shift in their sleep-wake cycle. Imagine feeling jet lagged without having ever stepped on a plane. So, your liver can change your personality. That's huge. And so, don't eat the poisons in the first place, and then allow your liver to get rid of the toxins that it does find in your bloodstream so that they don't go up to your brain and cause dysfunction, personality changes, and dementia. Cognitive risks are linked to poor liver health. Several cognitive issues have been linked with chronic liver disease. You get memory and attention impairments. It slows your processing speed. It increases your risk of mild cognitive impairment or dementia. Hepatic encephalopathy in more advanced cases can happen, and while the most severe symptoms occur in advanced liver failure, early stage MASLD may already be impacting your brain silently. MASLD is the new term for liver disease. How an unhealthy liver causes mental illness. A fatty liver disease develops from alcohol use, metabolic disease, and poor lifestyle habits. I have 20 lifestyle habits listed in my free magazine on issue, and you can go to the first page of Cheryl Health Muse, see that under my video up there.com, and it will take you right to all of my books and my magazine that are on issue, which are flea flip books, and all 20 of my lifestyle habits are listed in an article in my magazine. Pay attention to them and start to adopt them one by one. But the most important one is eating organic foods of the whole color of the rainbow, because they each have different gifts that helps your body survive. A fatty liver becomes impaired in its ability to detoxify the body. So you don't want a fatty liver, trust me. And unfortunately, most people who are running around with one don't even know it. I found mine by accident. We'll talk about that. Toxins accumulate in the body and the brain, causing symptoms associated with mental illness. See, that's not a very healthy liver there, and it's going up and impacting the brain. The vagus nerve, which starts in your gut, and your liver, maintain a crucial bidirectional connection via the liver-brain axis, controlling your metabolism, inflammation, and energy balance. So the hepatic vagus branch, the brain monitors liver function, regulates glucose production, and manages immune responses. The vagal nerve is the superhighway to everything else in your body. It even takes the phytonutrients from your food that your gut bacteria, your good gut bacteria break down. It allows them to get piggyback onto the fiber that you just ate and all this good food. And then the Vagal nerve delivers them to your brain, to your liver, to your heart, to your kidneys, everywhere in your body. The vagal nerve and the liver connection are very important, as it is to all the other places that it leads to. It turns on all your happy hormones. Anti-inflammatory action, the nerve acts as a cholinergistic anti-inflammatory pathway by releasing ACH. It interacts with immune cells in the liver, suppressing inflammation during acute injury. Now remember, inflammation leads to autoimmune diseases and to cancer, so you don't want it. So you want to eat anti-inflammatory foods, which are all the colors of the rainbow of food that doesn't have toxins sprayed on it. And then it's meat that eats his own given diet. So like a cow, he should eat grass and get finished on grass. He doesn't want to be finished on corn. He can't handle it. He's got two guts because he needs to eat grass. And so you want to be anti-inflammatory? Then eat animals who eat what they're supposed to eat. And all of that's explained in my It's Not Complicated book. Go take a look at that. Therapeutic potential. Emerging research suggests that stimulating the vagus nerve helps mitigate non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and lower your liver tumor growth by modulating immune responses. Explore scientific literature on the National Center for Biotechnology information to learn about the neural circuitry linking the vagal nerve to your hepatic health. And then I just explained what the vagal nerve's impact is on your brain, as well as every other organ in your body, because it's the superhighway. Okay, here's how they're all interacting with each other. How to support both your liver and your lymph system. They're both huge detox organs. So support the liver, eat the rainbow. And that means all the colors. You don't want to miss any of them. And eat them as close to the farm as possible so that you get the full advantage of all the goodies that they have. Spinach, as an example, loses 30% of its goodies within 3 days. Eat bitter foods. That's your arugula, your dandelion greens. I add lemon to my water when I drink it because it becomes alkaline in my gut. And the arugula, the dandelion greens, all your greens are alkaline. And so they're super good for your stomach and for your health. Reduce your toxic load. Buy my first book on Amazon. It feels good to feel good. How to reduce toxins, reduce inflammation, and feel great again, because it will tell you all the places that I found toxins in my life, which I looked up every single ingredient I could find in my life on a website called ewg.org. And then I eliminated everything I found for lower toxin items step by step. It took me 5 years, but at the end of that 5 years, since I had lowered my toxic load so significantly and I stopped eating processed foods altogether, I started feeling fantastic. And once you start feeling fantastic, you're not willing to give it up. So processed foods, alcohol, chemicals, chemicals in your cosmetics, chemicals in your cleaning products, chemicals in your perfume and your scents, chemicals in your pots and pans and the plastic water bottles and in your water. All of those things need to be reduced to the lowest possible level because that will help support your liver. Don't make it overwork, show it love. And then support bile flow because that's what processes your healthy fats. So only eat omega-6 fats, which are your olive oil, your coconut oil, your grass-fed, grass-finished butter, and your avocado oil, which is actually an omega-9. All of that is super good for your liver and will make your liver happy. Now, what do you do to make your support for the lymph system? You want to rebound because your circulatory system has a motor, but your lymph system does not. So by rebounding, you're moving your body by walking and doing yoga and stretching. You're moving your body, which moves your flow and keeps your lymph moving. Dry brushing and lymph massage. I do a manual massage every night in the bathtub because I can reach my ankles there. And dry brushing is really great. People who teach you how to do dry brushing and lymphatic massage will teach you to start at your ankles. You want to start here. Start at your collarbone because that's where the traffic jam is. This is the major portal into your heart. So you want to do your dry brushing and your manual massage by first opening up these pathways. Then you open up your head so that it can drain into them. And then you work down your body all the way down to your ankles. And then you come back and open this up again so that you're sure that your flow is working. And you want to make sure you're hydrated so you're drinking adequate water. Lymphatic health will take you from puffy to sculpted. So it's important. And remember, it doesn't have its own it doesn't have its own motor, so you have to help it flow properly. How does the lymph interface with blood? Blood has capillaries and takes fluid and waste and leak out. Your right lymphatic duct and your thoracic duct go into your subclavian veins, which then takes it over to your liver and get the waste to leave your body. So your heart and your liver and your lymph all dump into the same place, and then you need to get them out. So the lymph dumps into the bloodstream, which then circulates it through the liver, and the liver cleans the blood and either sends it to the kidneys or to your intestine so you can poop it out. So cellular toxins in tissues go to the lymph system. The lymph system goes and picks up the trash around the cells. That goes into your bloodstream. That goes down to your liver, which transforms the toxins and then sends them to your stool and to your urine. The lymph moves it and the liver transforms it. How does the liver work with the kidneys? If kidneys filter your toxins effectively, the liver detoxifies, sends the liquid part over to your kidneys, which then flush out the waste. The kidneys balances your nutrients, the liver processes, the kidneys regulate your minerals and your fluids. It supports your digestion. Your liver produces bile, which aids in fat breakdown and absorption, maintains blood health. The liver stores iron, and your kidneys control your red blood cells. It prevents overload. So both organs are working together to avoid toxic buildup. So your kidneys and your liver have a synergy that's really important for how your body functions. And then remember, your skin is also a detox organ and your lungs are a detox organ. So they all work together to get all these toxins out of your body. The liver and the kidneys are interconnected organs that play vital roles in overall bodily function. And problems with one can afford problems with the other. Their health is linked in several ways. Fluid and blood regulation. Both organs help regulate blood flow and volume. The liver produces proteins involved in blood clotting, while the kidneys manage fluid balance in the body by adjusting blood volume. Waste filtration. The liver filters and detoxifies the blood, processing toxins and metabolizing nutrients. The kidneys then filter waste products from the blood to produce urine. Impact of dehydration. Dehydration can decrease your blood volume, which reduces the liver's ability to filter effectively and then leads to a buildup of toxins. This also impacts your kidneys, potentially causing a buildup of toxins and increasing the risk of kidney stones. Dietary health. A healthy diet, my rainbow diet, remember that? Supports one organ, often benefits the other. So eating the right foods impacts everything in your body. So eat the rainbow diet and what I call clean meat. For example, avoiding high sodium, excess starch, sugar is recommended for maintaining both kidney and liver health. Now we're going to talk about the liver and your lung health. Remember, your lungs are also part of your detoxification system. Advanced liver disease, which is cirrhosis, significantly impacts the lungs through vascular and fluid changes, often causing low oxygen levels, high blood pressure in lung arteries, and fluid buildup. These conditions lead to a shortness of breath, fatigue, and cyanosis due to the liver's inability to filter toxins and regulate your blood flow properly. Key ways that the liver impacts your lungs. Your hepatopulmonary syndrome is a serious, often fatal condition where the blood vessels in the lungs widen, which means they dilate, preventing proper oxygenation of the blood. You need the oxygen that your lungs are bringing in order to have proper oxygenation in the blood. Symptoms include severe shortness of breath that worsens when you're sitting or standing and bluish skin. Pulmonary hypertension. This is high blood pressure in the arteries that lead from the heart to the lungs caused by liver disease. It is distinct from HPS, often requiring specialized treatment to manage and can cause shortness of breath, fatigue, and fainting. Hepatic hydrothorax. This condition is marked by accumulation of fluid in the chest cavity, often due to high blood pressure in the liver and fluid moving from the abdomen through the small defects in the diaphragm, typically resulting in difficulty breathing. Increased infection risk because the liver can no longer effectively clear bacteria and toxins from the blood. These toxins can accumulate in the lungs and then lead to increased risks of infection. And finally, chronic inflammation. Liver dysfunction releases inflammatory mediators that then trigger acute lung injury or worsen conditions like acute respiratory distress syndrome. There's even an autoimmune disease that's totally focused on the lungs. So your liver has to get the toxins out so that you don't get lots of inflammation so that your lungs stay healthy as well as every other organ in your body. Your liver and your mitochondria. The mitochondria are the little battery packs that are in every cell. Your liver health significantly impacts your mitochondrial function, and the liver is a central metabolic hub where hepatocytes rely heavily on healthy mitochondria to perform their critical functions. You need healthy mitochondria. They're what are producing all the energy in your body. The liver is responsible for numerous vital metabolic processes, including energy production. So hepatocytes, which are liver cells, use mitochondria to generate the energy, which is ATPs, needed for synthesis, detoxification, and other metabolic activities. Your metabolism. Mitochondria in the liver play a key role in processing carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And you know you need a good metabolism so that you process all the food that you're eating so you don't get fat. Detoxification. The liver filters toxins, a process that is energy intensive and depends upon mitochondrial function. So if you want to have enough energy to filter the toxins, you need to have really strong mitochondrial function. So the liver creates that in the mitochondria, and the mitochondria create that in the liver. When the liver health is compromised due to disease or toxins, mitochondrial function becomes impaired, and this leads to reduced energy production, which then impacts your liver functions. Increased oxidative stress. Damaged mitochondria produce more harmful reactive oxygen species, and cell death. Severe mitochondrial dysfunction leads to hepatocyte death and liver failure. So what are mitochondria? They're small structures in a cell that are found in the cytoplasm, the fluid that surrounds the cell nucleus in the cell. Mitochondria make the most of the energy for the cell. They make most of the energy for the cell and have their own genetic material that is different from genetic material found in the nucleus. And believe it or not, the genetic material in your mitochondria comes down the female line. So you have your grandmothers and your great grandmothers, and of course your mothers, genetic material in the mitochondria, and it's different than your DNA. So it's important. Mitochondria function as batteries that produce 90% of the energy in your body's cells. Mitochondria are really important in high energy demanding organs, such as your heart, your liver, your muscles, and your brain. 40% of each heart muscle cell and 25% of each liver cell is made up of mitochondria. Just wanted to show you this to give you an idea of what it looks like. A healthy cell enters fat and protein and carbohydrates, and each cell has its own mitochondria. This is the cell's nucleus, and your DNA is in the cell's nucleus. And then the mitochondria can create the energy in the form of ADP. Damaged mitochondria, and lots of things can damage the mitochondria, results in reduced cell fuel. So aging, diseases, extreme sports, drugs, environmental toxins, genetics, free radicals, all reduce cell energy, which causes cell damage. And then that's the creation and the procession of disease in the cell. This is your DNA right here, and these are called telomeres. Telomeres are like the hard ends on shoelaces, and if they start to shorten, you start to shorten your life at the same time. And this is all fairly new research. 2 women won the Nobel Prize 2 years ago for learning how important the telomeres are. So you want to have healthy telomeres, so you need really healthy mitochondria because you need really healthy DNA, and all of these telomeres then they are helped by lifestyle factors and hindered by lifestyle factors. If you have a lot of stress, if you have poor diet, if you have a lack of exercise, then excessive alcohol consumption all shortens your telomeres. And if you shorten your telomeres, you're shortening your life. And you're aging. You're aging your skin and your body. Telomere length plays a part in the development and the progression of non-alcoholic fatty liver and is an emerging player in advanced liver disease. Telomeres are the caps at the end of each strand of DNA that protect our chromosomes like plastic tips at the ends of shoelaces. After a while, just like shoelaces, they become worn out, and if that happens, they lose their ability to do their job. Lifestyle interventions such as good nutrition, eating the rainbow, physical activity, and low stress levels are known to prevent telomere shortening and decrease the risk of chronic conditions in the elderly. You age faster if your telomeres caps get injured or they start to shorten. New research indicates that ultra-processed foods are linked to accelerated shortening of telomeres and cell aging. All the more reason to avoid processed foods. What you eat can be the most important thing you can do for your health, or it can create disease. So eat good food and treat your body and your liver with love. Here's DNA. Shortened telomeres are strongly associated with increased risk and severity of non-alcoholic fatty disease and fibrosis. Short telomeres signify that your cells are aging and that they have damage, and studies have found that shorter leukocyte telomere length predicts advanced liver fibrosis and poor prognosis for adults, and they also indicate aging. Your liver and your eyes. If your eyes turn yellow, that's another big warning sign that jaundice says that you have an unhealthy liver. When I was in my mid-20s, I got something called monohepatitis. My eyes turned yellow, my skin turned yellow. Mono was the precursor to beginning fibromyalgia, and hepatitis was the precursor for me getting a fatty liver. I didn't know any of this in my 20s. I did get well from it. I had to go to the doctor a couple times a week, and I don't even remember what we did. But whatever we did heal my liver, but my eyes stayed yellow for a long time. And in all honesty, they never got quite as white again as they were before all this happened. According to traditional Chinese medicine, diseases involving the eye are closely related to liver imbalance. The liver controls the blood flow that reaches the eyes, and every time you blink or move your eyes, your liver sends a message to increase blood flow and circulation to the eyes. Vitamin A, which is water soluble and fat soluble, is essential for the health of the eye, and its deficiencies of this micronutrient can be seen in malabsorptive states of the liver. Where do you get vitamin A? From your orange vegetables and fruits. Vitamin A is essential for your health, but you can also get too much vitamin A, so don't overdo. And I wouldn't take a vitamin A supplement. I would get it all from natural food sources. Then there's something called alpha-lipoic acid, which increases glutathione levels in the body. I'm going to talk at length about alpha-lipoic acid and glutathione because both are super good for your liver. You make a lot of glutathione when you're young, not so much when you start to age. So this is a naturally produced antioxidant that protects against cataracts in the eyes and helps dissolve toxic substances in the liver. And the partnership between the eyes and the liver shows that we have to take care of them equally in order for them to function properly. The liver and the thyroid gland. Okay, the second autoimmune disease that I got was Hashimoto's. So I got fibromyalgia, which attacked my muscles and my joints, and I got Hashimoto's, which attacked my thyroid gland. When your liver struggles, your thyroid struggles. So the liver and the thyroid gland are closely connected in the body's metabolic processes. The thyroid gland produces hormones like T4 and T3, which are crucial for regulating metabolism and energy use. The liver is responsible for converting T4s into the active form of T3s, which is a process that's essential for proper thyroid function. If the liver function is impaired, this conversion slows down, leading to a functional hypothyroidism, even with normal TSH levels. Conversely, hypothyroidism can promote fatty liver disease, slowing metabolism and lipid clearance. Understanding this connection is vital for diagnosing and treating thyroid and liver health issues. So I got the liver problem in my mid-20s, and then I also had hypoglycemia, by the way, which then in my 60s or my 50s became diabetes. All these things sort of happened like dominoes. One happened and then they started to hit each other and they fell until whammo at 63. My body said enough already and threw up its hands. And we discovered I had 3 autoimmune diseases. A fatty liver came along a little later, but I had it then, I'm sure. And type 2 diabetes, and I was obese. So I was a charming functioning soul by that point, and the liver and the thyroid gland were part of it. So when liver function is impaired, this conversion slows down, leading to hypothyroidism, even with normal THS levels, and hypothyroidism promotes fatty liver disease by slowing down metabolism and lipid clearance. Understanding this connection is vital for diagnosing and treating thyroid and liver health issues. You'll begin to understand why I follow and study functional medicine, because conventional medicine only wants to look at your liver and say it's not working properly, whereas functional medicine looks at the body as a whole and wants to find the root cause so that all the different interactions in your body and all your organs work together as one big happy family. A sluggish liver leads to a sluggish thyroid. A sluggish thyroid leads to a sluggish liver. And so there's a connection between them. And so you need to give them both love because they're both important. There is another kind of autoimmune disease of the thyroid called hyperthyroidism. I have a girlfriend who got that. She almost lost her eyesight as a result of it because she had elevated liver enzymes, bone disorders, cirrhosis, and NAFLD, and medications also elevate your liver enzymes. Thyroid cancer also sometimes comes when you have a thyroid condition that is impacting the liver. And 7 out of 14 cancer patients were found to have liver metastasis when they were first diagnosed. So thyroid autoimmune diseases are important, big red flags, and they cause liver abnormalities and the following conditions. So, chronic autoimmune hepatitis, primary biliary cirrhosis, primary sclerosing, I don't know what that word is, chlorogenitis, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, all of which happen because your thyroid was unhappy and got diseased. Fatty liver and thyroid causes hypothyroidism. It slowed fat metabolism. It creates insulin resistance and inflammation in the liver. So check your thyroid function regularly and ask your doctor to check your thyroid function regularly. Hyperthyroidism is what my girlfriend got, marked by excessive thyroid hormone production. And it also affected the liver function by increasing the metabolic rate and altering liver enzyme activity. The liver and all your hormones are interconnected. Daily detoxification, reducing stress, optimizing your sleep, having healthy relationships, and regular exercise all support all the hormones in your body. Your liver is your real MVP for hormone health because it helps you with estrogen metabolism, energy and blood sugar. It helps your thyroid hormones. We just went through all that. And the liver impacts all your hormones. So knowing that it's important. Now, what also impacts all your hormones? Ultra processed food. So do not eat that crap, carbonated, artificial, refined foods, because they impact all your hormones because they're impacting your liver. So be kind to your body and don't eat that crap. Other important functions of the liver on hormones include breaking down and removing excess hormones, managing the conversion of fats from your diets, and manufacturing triglycerides and cholesterol, taking the carbohydrates you consume and turning them into glucose, which is how it's a form of energy for your body that gets stored for later use. The liver also interacts with other organs like your gallbladder, your stomach, and your spleen, since it receives digested particles or toxins and decides what it is it's supposed to do with them, circulates them around through the blood, and eliminates them before they cause any damage. The liver, your detox and hormone hub. The liver does far more than most people realize. It's not just about digestion, but it's also deeply tied to your lymphatic and your immune systems. A healthy liver equals smoother lymph flow, stronger defense, and balanced hormones. The liver is your detox and your hormone hub. So don't eat the ultra processed food and treat your liver with extreme love by adopting all of my healthy habits so that your body operates like a well-oiled machine. Breast cancer frequently spreads and metastasizes through the liver, affecting up to 50% of metastatic breast cancer patients. It's a major cause of death, and in advanced cases with poor prognosis of 2 to 3 years survival, although manageable, liver dysfunction, such as a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, contributes to a metabolic imbalance that promotes breast cancer progression. 10 facts about the liver. It's the biggest organ next to the skin. It's your largest solid organ in the body. It's the only organ that can completely regenerate. That's huge. Your liver is concerned about your weight. It's an organ that can regenerate. It's on here twice because it's so important. It helps in hormone metabolism. It performs 500 different functions. It determines how much cholesterol you have in your body. Liver is a protein creator and a clotting agent, and it stores your vitamins and minerals. The liver and your kidneys. There is a kidney and a liver synergy. It filters your toxins effectively. It balances your nutrients. It supports your digestion. It maintains your blood health, and it prevents overload. The liver and the kidneys are interconnected organs that play vital roles in overall body function, or problems with one then impacts problems with the other. Their health is linked in several ways. Fluid and blood regulation. Both organs help regulate the blood flow and the volume. The liver produces proteins involved in blood clotting, while the kidneys manage fluid balance in the body and adjust blood volume. Waste filtration. The liver filtrates and detoxifies the blood, processing toxins and metabolizing nutrients. The kidneys then filter a lot of that waste product from the blood to produce urine, while your liver is also sending the more solid waste down to be pooped out of you. If you're dehydrated, it decreases your blood volume, which reduces your liver's ability to filter effectively, and it leads to a buildup of toxins. So less blood, higher concentrated poisons. It also impacts the kidneys, potentially causing a buildup of toxins and increasing the risk of kidney stones. Dietary health. A healthy diet that supports one organ often will benefit the other. So, for example, avoiding high sodium, excess starch, and sugar is recommended for maintaining both kidney and liver health. And remember, all your white foods, your white flour, your white sugar, they're carbohydrates that turn into sugar. So it's not just sugar itself, it's sugary foods that impact your kidney and your liver health. Now you know how the liver interacts with all your other body systems. We have not discussed the gallbladder and the pancreas yet. I have a whole section on those because they are so frigging important. But know that you need to take care of your liver and give it love, because if your liver is sick, you need to do whatever you can to reverse that situation. Love, love, love your liver, because as goes your liver, goes your health. The liver is responsible for neutralizing all the toxins you're exposed to in your environment, your food, your heavy toxic metals, your household, and your personal care products. This is why most Americans' livers are compromised, and this is a big deal as it increases the risk of many diseases. The list includes all your autoimmune diseases like lupus and Hashimoto's and cancer and dementia and diabetes and heart problems and hormone imbalances and thyroid problems and eye problems and hemorrhoids and varicose veins and spider veins. But last and not least, acne, rosacea, and eczema also are gut and liver issues, along with brown pigmentation on your skin. The liver is responsible for almost everything that happens in your body, and every organ and system in your body is affected by the liver. And posture, because your liver is connected to your spine, also impacts your liver. So good posture is good for good liver. If the spine is positioned correctly, it impacts the liver and is a positive way. If it's incorrectly positioned, then it hurts your liver. So liver function is directly affected due to interference with the nerves that connect the liver and its arteries. And this interference can lead to necrosis, which leads to the death of liver cells. So when we slouch while we're sitting, we not only change the normal position of the spine, but also the spine's ability to correct and protect these nerves. And research has shown that liver problems are likely to occur from a single nerve interfering with the liver's supply function. Increased hepatic compression was observed during exhilaration, in a sitting position, and with the trunk inclined forward. It's been shown that constant compression on the liver can lead to hepatic compression, and this complication usually does not occur if compression is only temporary or occurs with varying intensity. Sitting in a hunched over position at a desk or even in a bed puts pressure on the liver, surrounding tissue, and your organs. If your liver has hardened with liver disease, it does not have the flexibility it needs to compensate for the additional pressure on it, and a sedentary lifestyle puts you at risk for suffering from the consequences of poor posture. So staying active is a major contributor to limiting the development of bad posture. And finally, the liver and our emotions. The liver reflects how we embrace love. The liver is where anger comes from. A healthy liver encourages enthusiasm, kindness, creativity, inner strength, and resilience, while on the other hand, expressing and living with these healthy emotions strengthens the liver. Look at all the things that a healthy liver can encourage in our lives, and then take a look at a miserable, unhealthy liver. The next page discusses how it impacts our body, our emotions, and our brain. What to do to have a healthy liver: alpha-lipoic acid, glutathione, and I'm going to talk about the Numi one and why I use it, milk thistle, and eliminating every toxin you can find on and in your food, in your products, in your air, in your home, in your environment, everywhere. Be vigilant and look up ingredients. And if it's toxic, put it into a plastic bin and get it out of the house and into the garage. Because even if it's toxic and you stopped using it and the cap is on, it's off-gassing, which is harmful to you. And if you want to try the Numi when we get there, IM me and I'll tell you how to get it. What can improved liver function do for your health? A healthy liver can lead to increased energy, regular menstrual cycles, fewer infections, less PMS, stronger immunity, fresher breath and oral health, clearer skin, freedom from sinus pain, less digestive complaints, and more regularity, and a positive mood and a sharper mind. So the employee of the year is your liver. So thank you. Be grateful for your liver. Tonight when you go to bed, thank your liver for all its hard work, because it is truly an amazing organ and it is connected to your life and health itself. So the next class is class 3, and it's on liver disease as we continue with the great liver rescue. And as goes your liver, remember, goes your health. And now you understand this completely. So I'm going to stop the share and close down and end the recording.